Okay, here is a walkthrough activity 3. So tell me how you doing. Oh, yeah, we're gonna pimp it. All right. The big key here is for you to understand that the ARC is 2 points and the IRC is 1 point. So it says in red, sketch the secant line, and probably should use the line tool. If you're like me and you can't draw a line. On the interval -3, 1, 2, -3, and -2. So in other words, all you're doing is just sketching where you think that line would be. And then it says in purple, draw the tangent line now at the point at exactly -3. And so it should look something like that. And it says explain how you determine to draw each line. I leave that up to you, but I pretty much told you. And so now when we go to the next slide, it will show you what it was supposed to look like, and hopefully yours kind of sort of looked like it. I'm going to do the same thing on this one, but be sure you're looking at the interval. These are the X values. So from 0 to 2, you're going to draw that secant line and then the tangent line at exactly 2, and then you're going to compare it with that one. All right, so it says here we're ordering values from the least to greatest, and what I'm trying to get you to notice on these next 2 slides, see that little prime there? These mean rate, where these mean values. So if I'm looking at f of 0, it looks like it's like a negative point something, right? If I'm looking at f of 2, that's just barely right here. And then f of -2 looks like that would be, 1.5, I guess. And notice it says from least to greatest. So you can click and move these around and all that kind of good stuff. Now this one is with the prime, the derivative is asking about slopes. And so if I look at x equals -1, that slope, the function is going down. So that would be a negative slope. If I look at x at -3, that's going up. So that would be a positive slope. And then at 1, that looks like that would be a 0 slope because it's flat there. Remember to list these least to greatest. All right, and now looking at, we have some graphs. So I'm going to just kind of put these graphs up at the top, and then I need to match these with the graph. It says f prime of 7 is negative. So I know it's not that one because that's this one, right? So this is saying where the slope equals 0. Now be sure when you don't see a prime, this is saying the value of the function. So I know this can't be this one because it looks like 7 at x is 7, the value of the function is negative. So again, I'll leave it up to you to work those out. All right, so I talk about in the lecture the difference between the f prime notation and this dy dx Leibniz notation. And so tell me which method you prefer, if you even know yet, and why. And so pretty soon we're going to be going full blast with the derivatives. So once you get your answer, this section, you'll probably like this week because this week is mainly just interpretation, not a lot of math there. And so how would this be written as a function? So I'm looking here and it says you are told that the population in China is 1.412 billion. Okay, so that is the my population. And typically when you're given years, we would say the initial is at 0. Okay, and so then you want to look at decreasing at a rate, which would be the derivative. So P of 0 means, P of 0, if I can write a 0, is the population at 2021. And it looks like that's the 1.412 people. And then it looks like in 2021, which is this piece right here. And this is where you always hear me say, I like Leibniz, because this tells me this is the change in population over the change in time, which is years, and what the populations in, somewhere it told me thousands of people per year. Okay, so it's just trying to get you to interpret what's going on here. All right, and so this is the answers. And so if you just jump straight here, you're going to already see the answers, but I like you to think about it first. Some of you have had calculus before. In fact, I find out a lot of you, and you know there's an easier way to do this with shortcuts. And I like you to learn what you're doing, the why you're doing it, and all this first. But in a course like this, we're going to jump to shortcuts because we want to do more applications and less math, right? And so we don't want to go through the big old bad formula. Now, in your lecture notes, it gave you this function and told you to go through and find each one of these derivatives. Okay, so each one of these derivatives, and could you see some kind of pattern here? So kind of think about that and then answer this. And then here is saying, do you want to continue to do all of these steps, or do you want to learn the shortcut? And I'm sure most of you are going to say learn the shortcut, so it's getting you to recognize the shortcut. Let me know how you're feeling about, are you understanding the difference between the ARC secant line, IRC tangent line, all that kind of good stuff. Are you understanding the difference between function and rate, the derivative? And don't worry, in group work, we will definitely go over these. So once you're done, remember, just close the activity and I'll be updating grades.